DrYasapa. Let's get going with Taurus. This is number 8 in our series, The Gospels and the Zodiac, the secret truth about JC, the Christ figure. All right, this book is by the Reverend Bill Darrell-El. Link to the free PDF is in the description area of the video, so y'all go ahead and get it. If you want it, I strongly suggest you print it and bind it. Have it bound just like I did, so you have it available in your library. And when we do these presentations, okay? All right, so let's get going. We are on page, give me one moment here. I lost my, just in that I lost my page, y'all. All right, I believe we're on page, I know where we're at. We are on page 80. Page 80. Yeah, I believe page 80. Well, I'll tell you what, let me start on page 79. We'll start on page 79. So y'all like and share the video, okay? Let somebody know we're live right now. So here we are. Page 79 is where I'm going to start here, this paragraph here, all right? So here we are. In the shoulder of the bull are the Pleiades, which, although not especially bright, are undoubtedly among the most observed and noted stars in the sky. So remember, everybody should remember the Pleiades, because it's going to come up over and over and over again, even in outside topics, okay? The Pleiades. So if you look up, they're not bright, they're dull, okay? So the Pleiades inspired astronomers, poets, and myth makers since the dawn of time. Many cultures throughout history have referred to the Pleiades as a hen with her chickens. Okay, so this automatically should call to mind the Christ figure talking about Jerusalem, and he himself, right, being a hen or a chicken who wants to gather his little chicks, but they didn't want to, right? They didn't want it. So let's continue reading. All right, so Pleiades is referred to as a hen with her chickens. Another instance, says Allen, quote, of the constant association of Pleiades with flocking birds, all right, with flocking birds, and here especially appropriate from their compact grouping, right? JC, the Christ figure, said he wanted to gather Jerusalem, all right, or the Israelites, alleged. He wanted to gather them together, all right? With the birds, especially for their compact grouping, Aben Regal and other Hebrew writers mentioned them, sometimes with their co-op, C, capital C-O-O-P, that held them. These also appearing in Hebraic folklore. All right, so that's how pervasive the writings are about Pleiades. Okay, it appears in Arabic folklore and still current. So, it says, and it's still current among the English peasantry. This is taken from Allen, page 399. Okay, let me place my order. Good morning. Yes, thank you. Very good. Thank you so much. Thanks. So here again, y'all, in beautiful Vietnam, you see you get the free tea. They have, in Vietnam, they will prepare your tea in different containers. This right here is unusual. I've never seen this type of container to have tea served, but that's the way they do it here in this coffee shop. And so let me show you how this looks, the color of this tea. All right. So this is a big thing, right? It's a lot. It's free, and it's a herbal tea. So here's the cup. Y'all take a look at the color. All right. So that's what it looks like. If I get a chance, if someone here speaks English, I'm going to ask them what type of tea leaves those are. And so here's the cafe. In Vietnam, they call coffee cafe. And you have the option of having it either hot, which almost no one does, or with ice. So I take mine with ice most of the time. And if there's someone who speaks English, or if I have the energy, I'll tell them I want honey. So I drink honey. I take honey with my coffee, all natural honey with my coffee, which it's herbal, right? All natural, herbal. And the taste is quite nice. All right, the taste is good. It doesn't taste like Lipton. All right. You know, I've been thinking, y'all, if I should start doing presentations on human anatomy, biochemistry, pathology, pathophysiology, more into the sciences, in addition to English. Actually, I'm working on an English online course that will give you the basic and advanced concepts and principles of the English language. So yeah, I would do like maybe a mini medical school type of thing if y'all are interested, and some presentations about herbs and plants, etc. It's on my mind. It's been on my mind for a couple years. I haven't done it, but y'all let me know in the chat if it's something that y'all want. Most people, almost everyone, is wasting their money buying these expensive herbal products. It is not the herb. Let me repeat that. It is not the herb that will make you healthy. All right. Now the herb, if it is natural, and if meaning non-hybrid, and if it is full, if its mineral content is full, all right, then your body has something to work with. But it's your body that makes you healthy, your mind and your body that makes you healthy, okay? The herbs just give you the minerals. But if you got a sick mind, and your sick mind is causing you illness, well, of course, the herbs, or the minerals rather, let me speak more specifically, will help you, but your sick mind will keep you sick, right? You keep on repeating that cycle. But anyway, that just came to my mind. But let's get back to our topic here. But y'all let me know if y'all want me to do that. All right. Where are we? Okay. All right. So, one is immediately reminded of the sayings of J.C. the Christ figure reported by Matthew and Luke. And here's the verse. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who have killed the prophets and stoned those sent to you. How often I have longed to gather your children together as a hen, as Pleiades, okay, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing. This is Luke, all right, 13 through 34. All right, and it says here, a parallel passage can be found in Matthew chapter 23, verse 37. Now this reminds me of a verse in, I don't remember if it's in Isaiah or Jeremiah, but the Christ figure, not the Christ figure, one of those prophets said the same thing, or a paraphrase of that, right? Y'all tell me what it is. Is it Jeremiah 7:6, where he talks about, he told him to return to the old way. Yeah, that's what it is. Return to the old way, but the people said they didn't want it. Something like that. I don't remember right now the verse and the exact words. It's about 6:30 in the morning here, y'all. Okay, as a matter of fact, let me check the time. Okay, 6:47 in the morning here in beautiful Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. Okay, so let's continue. So the paragraph continues. It reads, Matthew locates the saying in his general condemnation of the Pharisees, but in Luke, it appears close by the parables of the mustard seed and the leaven. To the Hindus, the Pleiades constellation were said to represent Agni, the deity of fire. Now y'all know the deity of fire, that means the deity of the sun, okay? So when you hear something like that, the deity of fire, the deity of the sun, you can relate that to JC, the Christ figure, the Tetragrammaton, Apollo, all of them. Okay, because they're all deities of fire, deities of the sun. Okay, so let's continue. So you consolidate this information so that it's easy to work with. All right. We read, to the Hindus, the Pleiades were said to represent Agni, the deity of fire, and Allen thinks that Diwali, the great Hindu feast of lamps. Okay, so now this would be something very interesting for you guys to research. The Hindu feast of lamps. All right, and we can see how much of Christianity, or if and how much of Christianity and Judaism was lifted or associated with this Feast of Lamps, right? Okay, so the great Hindu Feast of Lamps is held in October through November in honor of the Pleiades constellation. However, some confusion exists as to how many stars the naked eye, that means you can see without the use of a telescope or some other equipment, okay? All right, so it appears that you cannot see all of the stars that make up the constellation called Pleiades. And by the way, well, I'll come back to that later. So let's continue. However, some confusion exists as to how many stars the naked eye can see in the Pleiades. Some say you can see 6 stars, some say you can see 7 stars. Keat calls them the starry 7 stars that make up Pleiades, y'all. In the Endymion and in China, they were worshipped, so the Pleiades was worshipped by girls and young women as the 7 sisters of industry. Now note, industry, this is a corporate term again. All right, so we have to put things into the proper time frame. Okay, that is a corporate term, industry. And when you change the words, when you change the terminology, you can often get a completely different mental image and a completely different meaning. Okay, so words matter, terminology matters. All right, so Homer mentions 6 stars, Aratus 7, although he goes on. So let's read what this guy Aratus has to say. 7 are they in the songs of men, albeit only 6 are visible to the eyes. So according to Arith, there's 7, but you can only see 6. Yet not a star, I ween, was perished from the sky, unmarked since the earliest memory of man. But even so, the tale is told, those 7 are called by the name House Sion. Okay, so one of the stars is House Sion, Miro, Selenio, Electra, Stero, Tyget, and queenly Maya. Small and dim are they all alike, but widely famed, they wheel in heaven at morn and eventide, by the will of Zeus. Okay, this is the deity who bade them tell of the beginning of summer and of winter and of the coming of the plowing time. So in other words, Pleiades was a signal that winter was coming, the beginning of summer, it's a signal of the beginning of winter, and that the harvest time is approaching. Okay, so this is what our ancestors looked up into the sky, and when they saw Pleiades, they would know what was coming next. It was either wintertime coming, summertime coming, or harvest coming. Okay, so that's 3 of the seasons that Pleiades marked, okay, or signaled was coming. What else is significant about that? Okay, y'all should know that Zeus is in Latin Deus, or Dios, right? That means Zeus. This is the word that's translated as capital G-O-D in your Bibles. So for those of us who take a non-religious, academic, scholarly approach to these documents, we are not looking at this as religion. Okay? Me, myself, I'm not in any religion. I'm not interested in religion. So I take a look at this as a literary investigation. Understand the difference, okay? A literary investigation. So when I see a word like Dios, I can look at its literal meaning, which is Zeus, and how it is translated or rendered, which is capital G-O-D, God. Do you guys understand? Okay, this is coming out of the Bible. And so who are the gods in the Bible? This would be the Tetragrammaton and JC, the Christ figure. Do you guys understand? Also, Baal. Baal is the symbolical name. Baal is the symbolical name of the Tetragrammaton of YHWH, all right? Okay, so look at the qualities of Baal and match them up with Zeus, all right? Then you can go into Greek mythology and match it up with Apollo, Jupiter, so on and so forth, all right? I can't tell you what to do. I'm only telling you what I do, all right? I'm sharing with you what I do. So here we go, let's continue. All right, so that came from Aratus on page 227 and 28. Ovid writes, Ke septem dici sex tamen esse solin, whatever that means, y'all. Okay, that's in Allen, page 411. Eratosthenes, I don't know how to pronounce this, but I'm on page 80, called it the Pleius Aptasterus, the 7-starred Pleiad, although he said that one of them is Panaphanes. One of them is Panaphanes. Okay, so Panaphase must be something significant. Let's keep reading to check it out. Quote, all invisible, unquote. One of the stars of the Pleiades is hidden. Okay, all right. According to the myth, the Pleiades were the 7 daughters of Atlas, who had been changed into stars by Cleo. 6 of them had been married to lowercase gods, so that's demigods, right? But the 7th, Miro, had married a mortal, so her light was dim and rarely seen. Okay, so that's all of this was to get to that. All right. All of which strikingly reflects the parable of the lamp in Mark chapter 4, verse 21 and 22. Okay, so here we go again, y'all. Here we go again. Let's read it. He said to them, quote, do you bring a lamp to put it under a bowl or a bed? Instead, don't you put it on its stand? Don't you put the lamp on the lampstand? For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed. Now the word here is a derivation or associated with this word Panaphanes. I'm going to show the word, okay? And wherever it is concealed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open. Now here we see Fanron, which is another word associated. Looks like they all may have the same root. If anyone has ears to hear, let them hear. So let me show y'all what the author has written here. All right, here we are. So y'all can take a look at that. Hopefully the camera is focusing it. So here we see 2 words that appear to have the same root as that word that we looked at before. All right, so what is that word? Panaphanes. So the word Panaphanes is used to describe the star Miro because it's dim, if I remember it correctly. You see the 2 words in Mark chapter 4, verse 21 and 22, those 2 words share the same root. So it's the same word, all right? Just the meaning is subtly different, a nuance, all right? So let's continue reading. Notice how Mark uses the words Fanroth and Fanron, okay? So Fanroth and Fanron. Verbs from the same root as Panophanes, the word used by Aristophanes to describe the invisible 7th Pleiade. All right, so y'all got that? So whoever wrote Mark probably read this guy's work and just lifted that word out of there. All right, use the same word to describe it. Let me check the time. So I hope y'all are beginning to see a pattern here. I hope you are beginning to see a pattern here with these Gospels. And this is not for everyone. Religious people probably cannot tolerate what we're talking about. All right? Probably cannot tolerate this. Matthew's version, which is found in the Sermon on the Mount, that's Matthew 5, 14 through 16, is slightly different. But its verbs reflect the Greek name Aldebaran, Lampadias, better than Mark's. Okay, so, all right, so in Matthew there's a stronger word connection. Let's read it. You are the light of the world. A city on the hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light. Here's the word lampi. All right, so that's the association with the word lampadius. So it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine, which is lampsato. Okay, we see the same root before men. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. All right, since Aldebaran was called oculus tori, or the bull's eye, and even capital, or even God's eye, it is interesting to note that immediately after his version of the parable of the lamp, Luke adds, your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eyes are good, your whole body also is full of light. Now there's a different rendering of this verse. Instead of when your eyes are good, it says when your eye is single. When your eye is single, and when you work that out, what you're going to find is that takes you right back into the astro-theological topic of the chief cornerstone. The chief cornerstone. All right. So Zion Law School scholars, you know what I'm talking about. Go read. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can start with looking at the community post I did on the YouTube channel, and you'll see the back of a dollar bill. You'll see the chief cornerstone. Okay. So y'all go study that. That's worth putting a lot of time into. So let's continue. Let me repeat that. That's worth putting a lot of time studying into. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Since Aldebaran was called oculus tori, or the bull's eye, and even God's eye, it is interesting to note that immediately after his version of the parable of the lamp, Luke adds, your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eyes are good, or when your eye is single, your whole body also is full of light. But when they are bad, your body also full of darkness. Now, the astrological meaning behind this is the constant battle between what? Between light and darkness. It's a constant battle. It's only equitable at the what? At the equinoxes, the vernal equinox and the autumn equinox. This is the only time where there's justice and where there's no inequity. All right? At the summer solstice and the winter solstice, at the summer solstice, the light is dominating. At the winter solstice, the darkness is dominating. All right? So light is good, dark is evil, according to this model. All right? And there's constantly inequity. Over here, there's inequity. The only place where there's equity, or 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of night, again, are at the equinoxes. All right? All of these other points, this is inequity. All right? This is inequity. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Injustice, inequity, unrighteousness, wickedness, so on and so forth. All right? This is what the author is talking about. All right? So if your eye is single, your whole body will be single and you'll be full of light. But if it is dark, your whole body will be dark. Y'all got it? Higher self, lower self. The constant battle to do was higher self good or lower self bad. Paul also talked about that. Okay, so let's continue. So that portion of Luke is in Luke 11:34 through 36. This parable of the lamp refers to the Taurinian tendency to keep itself to itself, getting comments on this level, the material, And remember, Taurus is about your relationship as a man or a woman to the material world. So this involves your political status, your nationality, your ability to inherit, and to pass your stuff down to your youngins, all right? So don't get it twisted. That's what's being discussed here. All right? That's what's being discussed here. There's no spiritual pie in the sky, emotional stuff happening here. Let's continue. On this material level, he is indeed the bull, guarding that which is his own. All right? So you protect your property, which includes your woman or your women, and your youngins, and your kinfolk. You protect them. Okay? You protect them to the death. All right? To the death. This is what a man does, and a woman. You don't call 911. Y'all might not understand that. All right? Be it in his pathetic strip of field. In other words, be that bull bound and yoked, working a field, he's going to protect that field and whatever he feels belongs to him. Territorial, right? He's going to protect it. Or his vast acres, meaning he's out free to roam, do what he wants to do. His single cow or his herd, that's his kinfolk, his youngin. He likes to be left alone in his field. Okay, every man does, right? Every man wants to be left alone at peace on his own property. But what about the situation where you don't have no property? Like the hybrid troglodyte nigger Paleolithic colonists. You didn't have any. So now you're going to do what? You're going to exercise the option that you have available to you, if that's where your mind is, right? Okay, so now let's continue. To be effective, let me finish that. Okay, he likes to be left alone in his field, lording it over his own. The man wants to be the king in his own house, right? Not caring over much for other people. So this is your sovereignty. My rights end where yours, where I begin to intrude upon yours, and vice versa. And then this way we all have peace. This is your Republican form of government. This is your Republican form of government. We see it in nature. I hope you guys see it. This is all natural law. This is all nature. This productivity towards insularity, the tendency to rest on laurels and to be satisfied with the status quo, is not spiritually productive. All right. Here's that word spiritually productive again. So you know in religion they want you to get out and go hustle to get them new members, right? So if you're sitting at home, you got everything you need, you got it yourself, you're the sovereign in your own house, on your own property, why do you need a Christ figure to come save you? You don't. Why do you need to go out and evangelize and convince people to come to this Christ figure? You don't. So do y'all see what the point or the admission that the author is making? Now this is irreverent. The admission is that if you have enough of your own stuff, and if you are in the control of your own life, you don't need Christianity. He's admitting that. Why? Because he's saying, let me read it again. You don't need religion is what I'm trying to say. This is what he says here. It says, I lost my place again. Why do I keep losing my place? Here it is. Let me just start from the top. This productivity towards insularity, the tendency to rest, the tendency to rest on your laurels. The tendency to kick back and do nothing, enjoy life because you have everything that you desire. Okay, and to be satisfied with the status quo. The status quo is my inheritance. I'm happy with it. Is not spiritually productive. So how do they make you more spiritually productive? They escheat you. They take your stuff. They take your inheritance. They take your sovereignty. They take your Republican form of government away from you. They get you to consent to being in a different political status. All right? They hit you with bills of attainder constantly, so you always have need. And in your need and in your suffering and in your indoctrination, you're going to go out and beg an external deity for help. For help. Y'all got that? And to get what you want, you're going to do what? You're going to go out and evangelize, because that's what the deity requires. He needs money. He needs more members. Just like network marketing. All right? So they don't want you comfortable. To be effective, the lamp has to be seen. To be productive, our spiritual life, our hustle, our evangelizing has to be focused outward, away from our own petty concerns. That's absolutely foolishness. You should be focused inwardly on becoming the person who you want to be. You should focus inwardly. If you have a problem, don't look at other people and say it's their fault. Look at yourself. Your focus should be on you in every instance, no matter what happens. You are accountable. Hold yourself accountable, because that's where your power is. If you start blaming other people and circumstances, you have just taken away your power, because now there's nothing you can do in your own mind. But when you say that you're accountable, now the focus becomes, what's my next move? What's my next move? All right? Okay. Let me check the time again, y'all. All right, I gotta run. Shalom, Islam to the Moors. Y'all make sure, if y'all want to support my project to rewrite the Book of the Law in Ancient Ibaryath and to translate it into English so that you can see all of the natural law concepts, how it relates to the U.S. Constitution for the United States of North America, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836, the other documents that are prior to that, but that are still in effect, and also more of what we're talking about. I can't get into a big discussion about it. I gotta run, I'm late now. Islam to the Moors. My links, everything is in the description area of the video. Check me out, get with me.